Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Christina. Nice to chat with you today.
I know. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so you know a lot about summits. I know nothing about summits. So that's what I wanted to talk to you today about because I've attended some and I've learned a lot from online summits. And this is something that you do a lot. You've gotten clients involved and you've done it yourself. So I kind of just want to hear your expertise. But before we get into the details, start off by telling me what an online summit is and why we should participate in them.
So, an online summit is such a fantastic resource and a really good opportunity to learn from a bunch of experts, typically in a free forum. So, the way most summits tend to work is that you'll have a host or an organizer, and they'll bring together about 20 different experts in a related industry. So, for example, the summit I'm working on right now is for health, fitness, and wellness entrepreneurs. And we're all talking about how to get new clients in the next 30 days. So, I'm talking to not only health, fitness, and wellness entrepreneurs, but also marketing specialists, publicists, marketers, social media strategists. So typically to get this kind of wealth of information could run you a few hundred or a few $1,000s, but everyone's participating in interviews that are about 30 minutes long and just sharing some general good value. So it's a really cool opportunity to take away some free knowledge from a variety of different perspectives and really have some actionable tips to help get you to the next step.
Okay. Now, you have had a client who both hosted her own summit and was a guest on the summit. So tell me about both of those experiences and how you went about executing both.
So for my client who she just wrapped her summit, it ran yesterday and the day before. Hers is directed to soon to be new and postnatal moms. And so hers was all about the female core and pelvic floor speaking to health issues. So where I helped her out with her summit was she did all the tech on her end, but I helped her find a number of speakers to be a part of that conversation, again, providing those different perspectives at different value. And I also worked with her to get the word out because you need people to know your summit is happening. So we worked together on finding a bunch of appropriate podcasts that she could be a fit to speak on. And then she was, sharing her expertise, but also at the end promoting, I have this summit coming up. Feel free to tune in. Here's the link to purchase a ticket. So hers was a paid event and get it out there that way. So yeah, that's mostly what we've worked on. We've also pulled some sponsors into the summit as well, just because there are a lot of brands that do want to align with that kind of audience. And it was just so precisely niched that it made sense for us to bring some paid opportunities in there as well.
Okay, so you're asking other people to participate in the summit. What is the benefit for them? They're giving their time and their expertise. What do they get out of it?
Okay, so there are a few different ways to look at, how you're going to promote this summit. So one model that I'm very familiar with and that a lot of summits do operate under is where they're looking for speakers who have a certain list size. And with that one, they'll ask everyone to share the event with their list, essentially saying, hey, I'm speaking on this summit, would love for you to tune in, make sure you grab your free seat or your paid seat here. Now, the advantage to this is when you have 21 or plus people doing the same thing, that grows everybody's exposure. So you're sharing this with your own audience, but then you have the opportunity to be introduced to new audiences as well, because those other experts are promoting as well. A lot of people also will typically offer a free gift at the end of an interview, which is delivered by email. So now this is a way that everyone gets to grow their email list. And it really is a win-win opportunity because the host is, of course, it's a list building strategy. It really is, but it's also one that is very focused around delivering value. So the host gets an opportunity to build their own list. The speakers get the exposure. And, I'm watching one summit right now that's called Speak Your Way to Success. And not everybody's interviews are ones that I'm resonating with, but there have definitely been at least 3 so far where I'm just like, I love everything you've said. I would love to learn more about this. And then I opt into their list and now they can start marketing to me as well. But I very consciously put my hand up and said, yeah, I do want to learn more about how I can work with you.
Okay, and some are paid and some are free.
Yeah, the majority that I've at least participated and come across, they tend to be free events because they are being used as that list building tactic. But there are definitely paid versions that exist as well, kind of like anything with online.
Right. Okay, so tell me about your summit and what the steps are. Say, I want to host my own. I guess it's easier if you're invited as a guest because you just bring yourself and your content. There's not a whole lot of preparation or planning. But I feel like hosting a summit and getting that list of people you want to be involved and asking them and the whole thing from start to finish, it sounds like a process. So break it down for me, what you have been doing step by step.
Yeah, it's been a process, but you know what? It's kind of been a very fantastically selfish endeavor as much as I'm delivering value. So for my summit, I work with health, fitness, and wellness entrepreneurs. So it made sense for me to do something geared towards that audience, and something they struggle with is bringing new clients into their business. So what I did was compile a list of the leaders in my industry, the people that I look up to, who I think are doing an excellent job in that area. And I reached out to all of them saying, hey, this is the event I'm putting together. This is who I'm serving, and this is how many people I'm hoping to reach. Would you be willing to spend 30 minutes with me on a video interview to share some content? So I got to reach out to people who I see as industry leaders. I now get to interact with them, but also it elevates my own it elevates my own presence because I'm showcased as a leader now because I'm associated with these individuals. And I'm really asking them really strategic how-tos, actionable tips, so that when people tune in, it's not just like, oh yeah, I listened to it and that was great. They actually have some things that they can walk away with that'll make a real difference in their business. So in terms of talking about the actual strategy, first is obviously identifying exactly what your topic is going to be, and then finding the experts who align and resonate with that topic. There have definitely been, a few multiple rounds of outreach, and, you obviously get a few no's, which is okay. Maybe it means a not now, maybe it means later. There are definitely some people who didn't have the bandwidth for it right now, but at least I'm on their radar. And when I do another one in future, I know to give them a little bit more of a heads up, and hopefully we can do something together then. So first of all, I found my experts. And one thing that I did to have a little more success with securing experts was I made sure I went through their websites and knew what they were talking about. What kind of freebies are they already offering? So one thing I did was say, I know that you have a freebie on your website about the sales process. Why don't we talk about how to do sales on this summit? And then that way you can promote that opt-in. So I'm making it as easy as possible for them so they don't have to do any extra work or create any new stuff, that they can just talk about the things they already have existing out there.
Okay, so you pick your topic, find your experts, research your experts, and then ask your experts.
Then I ask my experts,
And then you do video interviews like this one, and then put them all together and slowly email them out. What are the next steps when you're actually doing the summit?
So what I'm going to be moving into next, and it's really cool to be talking about this real time, is I'm just about halfway through all of my interviews, and then we're going to move into like a pre-promotional phase where people actually start emailing their list saying, hey, I'm a part of this. So when you look on the back end of it, now we're getting into, I have to create the email funnels, I have to create the marketing materials, I have to make sure there's somewhere on my website to actually host the videos and the opt-in links and all of that stuff. So that's the phase that I'm moving into now. Promoting it via email, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, making sure I have everything ready on the back end. And one thing that makes a lot of sense for people who are considering hosting summits that I hadn't mentioned before is, what do you want to do at the end of that summit? Do you want to obviously list building is a huge part of it, but are you trying to launch a program? Do you want to sell something? Because if you're hosting a summit that's not in alignment with what your end vision is and your end goal, then that doesn't really make sense. I know at the end of mine, I want to build a list of potential clients who want to learn more about how to get seen as an expert in health, fitness, and wellness. So that's why I'm talking about how to get new clients. And then towards the end, I'll be like, okay, well, now if you want to get seen so you can get these more clients, here are different ways that you can work with me, as opposed to being like, so, now I'm selling nutrition services, because that's not really in alignment with what I'm talking about in the summit.
Got it. And when people sign up for the summit, you are the collector of all of those emails, and correct, the other guests are just introduced maybe to new people who have not heard of them before. They don't get any emails out of it, correct?
No, they can. So that's why we offer the free gifts and opt-in at the end. So like I mentioned, again, with that sales example, he has a sales process checklist. So towards the end of the interview, I always say, so, X person, I understand that you have a free gift that you're going to share with people. Can you tell me a little bit about that? So that's an opportunity for them to say, yeah, this is something that I offer that can really help you solve your problem. And below that video where I have the interview is a link for you to get that checklist. So when someone clicks on that, they're redirected to his opt-in page. and now they give him their name and email address to receive that free gift. So hopefully by the end of it, he's going to be exposed to enough new people. They're like, they put their hands up and say, yeah, I do want access to that. And then he can grow his email list as well.
Got it. And when you finally distribute this, is it going to be dripped, like one interview a day for 20 days? Is it all going to be on one page on your website where you can just scroll down, or is each interview going to have their own page? What is it going to look like in the end?
So everyone has a different approach as to how they like to do it. I know a number of my business colleagues are doing one interview a day over, however many experts they have, so 20, 21 days. My personal strategy is I want to do 2 to 3 interviews a day, because you know how there's a certain drop-off point, like people just start losing interest after a while. So I really want to do 2 concentrated weeks of getting used to Lisa in your inbox, providing amazing amounts of value, and then being able to move on to the offer part next. If you're doing 1 interview a day over 21 days, that's adding a lot more time, an additional 2 or 3 weeks before you're in a position to make an offer. And I want to be able to take advantage of making an offer sooner rather than later. So I'm going to be doing the strategy of doing 2 different interviews a day. And each interview, to answer your question, will be hosted on a separate page. If you have too many call to actions for someone, they're just going to get confused and lost and not take action. So I'll be like, these are 2 interviews today. Click on whichever one resonates with you. Both hopefully will. And then it'll be on its own page with a little bit of a bio on the expert, their gift, and the actual interview then.
And will these stay on your page forever?
That's something I'm still figuring out. I know for mine, this is an entirely free event. There's no buy the VIP package for $47, which makes sense as a marketing strategy, absolutely, but it's just not my purpose right now. So for people who are doing the buy the summit at the end, it makes sense to only host the videos for a limited amount of time, whether that's 24, 48, or 72 hours. You're giving everyone access to the free value right away, but if you want to have access to this all the time, then you pay a small fee to get, lifetime access to it. So for me, this is not a money-making strategy. This is really just based around me delivering value and building awareness of who I am and what I do. So I foresee them being up for good and for free, but that is not set in stone just yet.
Yeah, because you never know. I mean, you always have the content. You can always unpublish it and charge for it later, but no, that's a good idea. Okay, so is there any idea when you're going to launch this summit? You're I guess, halfway done.
Yeah, before I even started reaching out to people, I had to commit to my date and hold that integrity. So my summit is called the Audience Attraction Formula, How to Get New Clients in the Next 30 Days, even if you're starting from scratch. And it's going to go live on April the 3rd, and it runs through April the 14th. So for people to get access to it, it is hosted at www.audienceattractionformula.com. But as a caveat to everyone who's watching this live, the website is not yet live. It'll be live mid next week, just in advance of going into my pre-promotional stage. So just putting some finishing touches on the marketing. But yeah, it'll be live next week to start funneling people into there and getting access to the interviews.
And tell me the website again.
Audienceattractionformula.com.
I really like that name.
Thank you. I like it too.
Very catchy. Is there anything else you want to add that I should have asked? Excuse me.
What else would I ask? I would add just stay tuned to what's available in your market. I saw last fall there was an interview series called the Fitness Entrepreneur Summit coming out. And I reached out to the host and I was like, hey, just saw this in a Facebook ad. Looks amazing. This is what I do. And I would love to add some value to the conversation if you're interested in that. And to be totally truthful, I don't have a huge list that I can market it to. But I said, this is what I do. These are the results that I've had. I'd love to share. And they happily brought me on to share something. So I was really grateful for that opportunity to really connect with their audience. So don't be afraid to ask. If you hear something going on, see if you can get into it.
That's such a good idea.
Oh my gosh, I'm such a proponent of always asking. The worst thing you're going to get is a no, and you're in the exact same position you were in the start.
I agree, 100%. Okay, thanks, Lisa.
Thank you for having me on to share some insight about hosting a summit.
I feel like I'm a summit expert now.
Oh, I can't wait to see what yours is going to be and if you host one.
Okay, one more question that just came to me. What if you want to be involved in a summit? You want to be a guest, but you don't know like where to look and who's having them. Is there like a secret summit Twitter or group or something somewhere where you can see all the summits happening?
No, not that I'm aware of. And if that does exist, please someone tell me where it's at. For me, you know what? I'm someone who clicks on Facebook ads. I love Facebook ads. They're really well targeted to me. So when I see something, I'm just like, yeah, that does actually resonate with me.
Okay.
And I'm actually on a number of people's email lists. So the one that I'm watching right now, I'm not participating, I'm just watching, but I'm subscribed to one of the speakers' email lists. So she sent me that promo email saying, hey, I'm involved in this. And I was like, yeah, I totally want to check that out. But now I'm getting introduced to all these other industry experts that I want to learn more from.
Got it.
I guess maybe keep an eye on your inbox and pay attention to those Facebook ads. They're not bad things.
That's a good idea. Very good idea. Okay. Thank you, Lisa.
Awesome. Thanks, Christina.
And we will be joining you at your summit.
Yay. The website goes live next week, audienceattractionformula.com.
Very cool.